John, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks, Dan.
You've done a great job. You know what? As a friend, I can say that, but as a friend, I would be critical with you. I think you've done an exceptional job. So congratulations on just being yourself in the booth.
Well, I appreciate that, and you know what? I hope it comes across I'm having fun, because if I wasn't having fun, then I'd be worried about not being positive.
Now it's your job to return the favor. I gave you a compliment just to get a compliment in return.
Well, normally, I would do that right away. But again, I want to wait just a little bit so that people don't think it's just a fake compliment that you've given me. But as you know, I mean, I set my TV and TVR. I record everything you do. So that's really the greatest compliment. I don't do that for anybody else, but I record everything that you do. And matter of fact, I mean, I got a lot of watching to do when I get home from the road.
Well, that's just it. People don't realize that you record everything. You don't watch it. You just record it. But
no. Well, someday I'm going to get a chance to really enjoy it and watch it.
And I heard you last night. You said you'd like to ride in a blimp. I have connections with the DirecTV blimp pilot, and if you would like for me to hook that up after the postseason, I'd be more than happy to do that for you.
Yeah, I mean, I got to do it. I got to do it one time just to experience, what that's like.
Okay. All right.
So I'll take you up on that for sure.
All right. Arrieta was dealing last night, and I was wondering how long Joe Maddon's going to stay with him. Obviously, he gave up the hit, then lost the shutout, and it felt like that Maddon was looking for an excuse to get him out there. Did it feel like a quicker hook to you with Arrieta last night?
Not really. It was one of those games, he was getting away with, look, he throws a lot of pitches that move, but he was getting away with what I would call maybe the Indians just his wildness was costing them the ability to get locked in. And look, Jake, for whatever reason, in the second half has thrown a lot more pitches to get results. So even if he hadn't given up a hit, I don't think Maddon was going to allow him to go much deeper. It's just the way he's been with his bullpen. He's not taking any chances. And certainly validating a win would have been the priority instead of letting somebody get something special in the postseason. It was a good sign, though, for Jake to get through that game, not give up any runs. He gets a couple spurts where he loses command of a fastball, and we saw that with a couple walks in the first. Afterwards, he made enough pitches, and certainly getting the lead for the Cubs is huge. I thought the biggest play in the first inning was the fact that a cutoff play and the relay man was missed because Bryant would have been easily out at home.
Yeah.
So the Cubs took advantage of that, were aggressive, got on the board, and I thought that was a huge moment in the game.
All right, Kyle Schwarber's availability now playing in the field. What do you do if you're Joe Maddon?
Gosh, I mean, look, a lot of times a manager and an organization, they try to push buttons, and some things work, some things don't. I thought this was a huge gamble that has definitely paid off. I didn't think there was any chance that a guy could be 5 months out, yet alone not even have any experience. It's one thing to have 10 years in the game and be a professional hitter and know that you can handle the circumstances. This is none of the case. I mean, this is unbelievable to think that a kid with this talent, they think that highly of him, they wouldn't even consider a trade for incredible pieces they could get back. And look, he DH'd. They were probably looking at 2, maybe 3 swings that could affect the game. Well, it's affected the game so much that I think the question you raise is a good one, and they're going to be pondering it. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays one game. Even this game at home Friday, a matchup against Tomlin is a lot more conducive, and a ground ball pitcher in Hendricks than necessarily facing Kluber is not as great as matchup. And of course, then you have more of a fly ball pitcher in Lackey. So I'm shaking my head. I give him all the respect, all the props in the world for doing this and being prepared mentally to deal with something that could have easily failed, could have easily been 5 out of 6 strikeouts, and no one would have thought anything different other than what were the Cubs thinking. Instead, they're talking about it like I am, and just marveling. In my career, I've never seen anything like it.
John Smoltz, Major League Baseball on Fox, Game 3 coming up on Friday night. How do you approach this as an analyst, any different from the regular season?
Well, I explain it like this. I mean, the regular season as a player, I wanted to win every game. I did. I was competitive as you can be, but I never approached a postseason game. I never approached a regular season game like a postseason game. I poured every energy I had, every attention to detail. I loved the postseason as a player. I just couldn't pitch 35 postseason games. And as an analyst, the same thing in the regular season game. I want to be the best I can, but you can't make a regular season game a postseason game. The crowd knows it. Everybody knows it. And it is what it is. You know, the matchup may or may not be what you can get when you get to the postseason. So the attention to detail, the emotions, and everything that I've been through prepares me, I think, about as well. I don't think I'll be surprised. And I really have a central goal, and that's to take the game, hopefully, to a viewer in a way where, A, the game's not easy, B, explain why the moment could create such an adverse reaction for a player, or a player not making a play, or just the game getting too fast. Because I've seen it and I've lived it, and for me, I really am having a great time. I enjoy this time of the year about as much as any other thing that I've been through, and hopefully we'll continue to view it that way.
How are you with criticism as an analyst as opposed to a player?
You know, it's interesting because on the flip side, when I was a player, everybody at some point, you know, in the regular season you get critiqued, you get criticized, it's not as big a deal. But when you get criticized in the postseason, you're a little bit more sensitive to it because the emotions are higher. And as a younger player, I probably listened a little too much to some of those stuff and would call in a talk radio or here or two. But and then after that, you realize it's not that big a deal when you can feel that the pressure and the magnitude of this moment, everybody's watching. And so I'm sure in my however long career I'm going to have as a broadcaster, someone's going to be offended by something I say, but it's never intentional, and it's not because you don't understand how hard the game is. So I don't care about the criticism. I actually warrant it and want to be as good as I can, but I take the criticism from the people that I value will help me be a better broadcaster, not necessarily, you know, because I'm not on any social networking, and not necessarily just how people think outside the world. But look, I love the fact that people care at this time and people are passionate about their team. But I can tell you this, they're so used to their home broadcasts, right? I mean, they get to this level, in the national level, they really do assume that you're pulling for somebody or you're rooting for somebody. That can't be farther from the truth. But the reality is I think what makes a good broadcast is if 50% think you're rooting for the other team. Because when you get down to the last two teams, they are listening to a national broadcast, the team that they haven't heard and haven't followed their team. So they're not used to hearing a broadcast team talk about the other team. They're always used to them talking about their own team.
Well, all you need to do is ask Joe Buck about it, because Joe gets ripped because it always feels like he's rooting for or against somebody. Now, you mentioned passion. We didn't know if you could slip in passion bucket, a legendary phrase on this program, but, you know, like the Cubs fans' passion bucket is overflowing, or, you know, Game 3.
Oh, yeah, it'll get in there Friday.
Passion bucket's in there?
Passion bucket. You can, at some point during the game, you're gonna hear the passion bucket.
Because we didn't hear it in the Hall of Fame speech that I think you promised. Remember?
Well, you know what happened there? There's two things that happened there. First of all, I've never read a speech, and that was the first one that I read in my life, and I got a little nervous, and I got off script a couple times. I forgot Ted Turner, and I forgot the passion bucket.
So you balked.
And I did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
Tried to make it right in the post-game interview comments when they asked me those things. But, I did. I got off script a little bit.
All right, so Friday night, now I'm going to watch that you're going to throw in passion bucket with Game 3 at Wrigley.
Yeah, I'm going to put that down as one of the star notes for
what you're looking forward to tonight in the game.
Exactly. Yeah.
Somehow using passion bucket.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's definitely going to make it.
I like it. So safe travels. Great talk to you, John, and well done.
I appreciate it, Dan. Thanks.
That's Johnny Smoltz, Major League Baseball on Fox.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.